Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the latest episode of Raw. So this episode of Raw kicked off in really quite spectacular fashion, where we basically just had Bron Breakker coming out. He had basically just started tearing up the place, tearing up the announce table, and basically just said, "Give me Mike," and there was kind of a little bit of a throwback to when Scott Steiner said, "Give me a mic," and what followed was not good. So we basically just had, this was just quite a bit of a swerve, I think. I think it was just maybe swerve is the wrong way, but it was kind of an unexpected way to kick off Raw. But it was a great way to kick off Raw. So we basically had, amongst of all of the carnage, we basically had a little bit of a sprinkling of the stupidity of wrestling that we all kind of like love, a kind of goofiness side of wrestling, because we had Paul Heyman, who was basically blaming Adam Pearce as well. He was basically saying that it was he was responsible for putting Bron Breakker at number 2, not number 1, which wasn't true, because they were all kind of like picking their numbers. We basically had Paul Heyman saying that Adam Pearce must know who the masked guy is, because Adam Pearce was in charge of all the visas going to Saudi Arabia. So that would imply that if there was anybody linked to wrestling who had gone to Saudi Arabia that weekend, they would have to go to Adam Pearce as well. And why the SmackDown roster would be having to go through Adam Pearce as well, I don't know. It suddenly seemed that we got a real big insight into how big a workload Adam Pearce's workload is. So it was just no wonder the poor guy is looking pretty stressed in the last few weeks. If that is all that he has to deal with, and that's all he's kind of like responsible for. So we had all this. We had Adam Pearce eventually came out after Bron Breakker was calling him out. Adam Pearce came out, stood behind a line of security, and from behind that line of security, he was basically saying, "Look, what are you talking about, Bron? You picked that number. Don't blame me for your piss poor performance at the Royal Rumble." And he was going and asked for, like, "I know who the masked guy is." Well, I don't know who the masked guy is, and the last time that we had a masked guy, it turned out to be a member of your group. So maybe start looking more inward. And yes, but he had so he had basically said, "Don't come to me blaming me for your performance at the Royal Rumble." And it was at this point where you knew Bron Breakker was going to blow up. So this was going to be the cue for LA Knight's music to drop, because otherwise Adam Pearce and that security were just about to get steamrolled. So out comes LA Knight, who was great to have him back. He's finally kind of like learned, if he's going to mess with the vision to kind of like quickly hit and run and get the hell out of there before they all kill you. So he had basically come out through the back in the ring. He had attacked a member of the Vision. I think it might have been Bronson Reed, I'm not too sure, but it was and then he kind of like skedaddled before before any of the members of the Vision could catch him, and then we basically had so this was just a chaotic way to start Monday Night Raw, but it was a great way to start off Monday Night Raw. And then it kind of took its foot off the gas a little bit. Everything kind of like in the middle was just, it seemed a little bit filler. Overall, this episode felt a little bit light on matches. I don't know if that was just me, but that was just kind of like a way it seemed to be. We had Javon Evans and Grande Americano, which was starting to get a little bit old. I mean, I've enjoyed watching these matches, but I kind of like it, but we can just move Javon Evans and onto something new now and you know, kind of take him to that next level. This match ended up with Javon Evans predictably picking up the win after the OG Grande Americano came out. And you know, they were doing a little bit that they did in the following up what they did in the Royal Rumble as well, where they're doing the little Spider-Man meme and pointing at each other, you know. And yeah, so I kind of feel like like I said, personally, I feel like we should just kind of like. Everyone ever should just leave this feud now and move on to other things. I kind of feel like we're going to get a little bit more of a mileage out of the whole Grande Americano against the OG Grande Americano. Yeah, I think if we do, I think it may be like 2-3 weeks tops. Otherwise, it is something that I've kind of like enjoyed, but it's going to be something that's going to get old really quite quickly. So I'm kind of like feeling like maybe we should just after I just like kind of like reverted back to just being Chad Gable again and stuff. But yeah, we will see. I just kind of like, yeah, it's just it lacks kind of intrigue or spice to me. So I just kind of like hope that they can move out. And obviously, Javon Evans is just destined to be a megastar. So yeah, let's just move him on to other things. We did have this match between. That was scheduled between Bronson, but seemed to be put on the whim as well. Right? We basically had a backstage segment where Paul Heyman was basically going to Adam Pearce and going, "I want you to put in a schedule a match between LA Knight and Bron Breakker tonight." Adam Pearce said, "You're not going to get that match. Instead, you better debrief Bronson Reed because he's going to have a match with Penta." And we had that match. So that was kind of like. Just kind of like out of left field. That just kind of like felt like you had just gone to an ice cream van and asked for a 99 with a flake and then walked away with a hot dog, you know, and just you're walking away going, how the hell did this happen, right? But yeah, we had that match. Again, like from hearing perspective, it was great, but I just feel like we basically had other members of the Vision obviously trying to kind of like intervene. We had LA Knight pop up again though who had basically hit Bronson Reed with a BTK onto the chair and causing him, and then skedaddled again, allowing for Penta to pick up a win. I just feel like there's something more we need to be doing with Bronson Reed at the minute. You know, I talked about in previous videos about how Austin Theory seems to be the little bit fish out of water in the Vision a bit, and that's I kind of like hope that it turns out that he is maybe like a Seth Rollins mole, and it just you know, injects a little bit of a swerve, but it adds a 360 to his character, which I think is needed. But yeah, I mean, while I think all of that is true, I think Bronson Reed has just seeped into the background, you know what I mean? There's not really, he's not being utilised, and you know, and I just feel like it's all kind of all the Vision stuff is navigating around Bron Breakker at the minute. I'm really invested in what they're doing with the Vision at the minute, but all of that is because of Bron Breakker, right? It seems to be like kind of just Bron Breakker and friends at the minute. So it's all just, yeah, it just feels like a little, everything else is just, needs a little bit more TLC to it. So it just kind of like felt like, obviously we're over now into Bronson Reed having a feud with LA Knight, so that was something that he desperately needed. The guy needed the feud, so hopefully we can get some elevation from him throughout that feud. But yeah, that was kind of like about it. I think we had a couple of like segments for the tag team division, which was kind of a bit of a nothing. We had one from the Usos. I mean, it was great to have Jimmy back as the wishing him and Naomi well, and congratulations to them both. It's great to have Jimmy back. But yeah, it was just a little bit of a nothing segment. There wasn't really anything going on. And it's the same when the Bella Twins came out. I mean, I said the Royal Rumble. I've never been a big fan of the Bella Twins, but yeah, they were basically just there to kind of, go, well, remind us that we were like the original tag team and stuff like that, which is fair. I think, as I said, although I haven't been personally a big fan of the Bella Twins, they are the sort of tag team that maybe the tag team division can gain from, because I think the division does need like a tag team with an actual identity to it, and obviously the Bella Twins certainly provide that. Just the way it kind of came across, I'm guessing we're kind of maybe just meant to forget that Nikki Bella had a heel turn like about a month ago or whenever it was now. I guess we're all meant to just kind of like forget that, and we're just kind of like hitting the reset on it. Yeah, so it was all just a little bit, so there just wasn't really anything too much going on there. We had the return of Dominic Mysterio here as well, so obviously great to have him back as well. He said that he'd essentially just come back to Philadelphia to congratulate Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan came out, she was doing some uber sucking up to Raquel Rodriguez and just building her saying, please welcome my sister and going to be the next champion tonight, Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez comes out and is basically like yeah, it's great that we've been celebrating your Royal Rumble win, but we haven't been talking about something else that happened at the Royal Rumble. And Liv Morgan just acting so aloof, was just like, what? Like, what could you be talking about? And honestly, I can't do it. Like, you have to go and watch this. Like, this is just another prime example of why Liv Morgan is the MVP of what she does right now. This was just so brilliant. But so it was basically, we didn't really, and so Liv Morgan basically addressed it, go and sister. It's not like that. It's just that, I knew that you had your title opportunity tonight, which obviously you are going to win. And then, so I knew that you're not a selfish person, so you wouldn't begrudge me having a title opportunity as well. And then so together we can both have a belt, we can both have a title, and together we can rule the galaxy as far as the eye can see. Like, it was just that. And Raquel Rodriguez was like, okay, yeah, that's fair enough, but tonight during my match, stay in the back, right? Stay out of the way. I mean, and it was kind of like, so already we kind of like planted those seeds. This added just like into a kind of a bit of a segue into the main event match that we had. It was a main event match. It wasn't the main event because we had a main event segment after this. But yeah, I thought that this match between Stephanie Valkyrie and Raquel Rodriguez was fantastic. I really did. It was so stressful. It had me kind of constantly on the edge of my seat. I think we had some real kind of physicality and brutality in this, where they were utilizing kendo sticks and trash cans and tables, and it was just, and yeah, I was so convinced that there was no way Stephanie Valkyrie was coming out of this retaining. So yeah, it really kind of like made me really invested in it, and it just it was just fantastic. It was just one of the best. I think it might have been one of the best women's matches I've seen on the regular episode of Raw since Io Sky and Rhea Ripley last year on the road to WrestleMania. I just thought it was fantastic, and we basically had Liv Morgan in the deep waters of a match. We had Liv Morgan coming out and basically just, I guess, kind of like totally ignoring what Raquel Rodriguez had come out. She had come out and they obviously already utilised all these weapons in this street fight. So Liv Morgan was like, "Oh, why don't you try this title belt?" So she goes to hit Stephanie with this, fails. Stephanie Valkyrie, I can't remember the sequence now, but suffice to say, Stephanie Valkyrie takes out Raquel and Liv Morgan, and she climbs up to the top rope. Roxanne Perez tries to get involved as well. Stephanie Valkyrie knocks Roxanne through a table. Stephanie Valkyrie and Raquel Rodriguez are battling it out on the turnbuckle, and then it looks like that Raquel Rodriguez is going to deliver a power bomb to her, and then Stephanie Valkyrie reverses it in. Stephanie Valkyrie reverses into a Hurricane Rana. The finish didn't land as they intended it. It was slightly off, but I'm not gonna knock it down for that. This is just the real world. Accidents happen, but it didn't detract from just a fantastic match. It really didn't, and it did kind of like make me think like, well, like. We got about another 45 minutes of the episode. What on earth are we going to follow this up? Well, we had basically had, it was already announced that we had this promo between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And this, again, was just a fantastic fire promo. Honestly, like, I know I'm going to forget some details, but it really kind of made it. I don't know, but it felt like it wasn't scripted. It felt like that they were given the freedom just to go out and kind of like really kind of go for this and really kind of pipe bomb it, because there were references all over the place from CM Punk basically saying how he had to come up with the idea of a shield, so Roman owed him, and Roman came back basically saying, well, were you talking about that? Let's talk about the podcast you did like 10 years ago, where you had said that you had favoured somebody else joining the Shield over Roman Reigns, and that made things really difficult to me, which is true, because it did play a part in the fans really turning on Roman Reigns, and he had got that really bad reception. So there was that. We had CM Punk saying that you're a part-timer and all this, whereas I've been on the road, defending this title, and Roman Reigns says that the only reason why you have been on the road so much is because you took like a 10-year vacation. It was just It was just fantastic. We basically had some like Drew McIntyre bash in here. That was fun. Some people were like really getting annoyed about this, saying it was like burying Drew McIntyre. It wasn't. Like, if we're gonna invest in the kayfabe world of wrestling, you want to believe that these guys really have a beef with each other in real life. So there's nothing wrong with that. So this was just a real fire promo, and it had basically just ended on Roman Reigns basically saying that he was picking CM Punk not because he's a bigger name or because he's the easier route or because of a star power or anything. He was like, I'm choosing you because I hate you. And just the delivery that he did this with, it made me really believe it. I mean, maybe they do hate each other in real life. Who knows? I don't know enough about what sort of relationship they have in real life. But I really got invested in this. I really, when they were doing this, it really felt like there was some real beef between them. It didn't feel like, I'm sure they had kind of like run it by each other beforehand and maybe done some rehearsal and stuff. But it felt really kind of like real. I had no issues buying into this. But this was like totally this was totally real, and it wasn't kind of like scripted or made up in any way. So it got me really invested for this. I was like, damn, like if CM Punk and Roman Reigns feud is going to offer more of this, and I am all down for it, right? So yeah, that was basically it. Almost forgot to. Oh yes, we almost forgot to mention that we had Gunther also on this show doing some classic trolling as well. We basically had AJ Styles' music hit as well. And what was so perfect about this is the camera shot us over a crowd who you could see the wonder and the excitement and the surprise in their eyes. You could see what they genuinely were like, thought that this was like AJ going like, and then Gunther comes back basically like mocking his entrance and just proven himself to be like be the troll of all trolls. So I guess that's where we've kind of like landed with this. This is going to be the type of heel that Gunther is going to be, and we're just going to have to accept it whether we love it or hate it. I'm all kind of like down for it. Gunther is a heel that does kind of like make me chuckle, I gotta admit, and this was no exception. I did think that this segment was pretty funny from him. So yeah, on the whole, guys, this was, for most of it, if you're judging it, most of the content of a runtime, I would say this was kind of like a standard average episode of Raw, but it was so elevated by just an absolute banger final hour and a banger opening. The opener and the final hour of this show just absolutely elevated this and made me kind of go away kind of thinking, damn, that was a good episode of Raw. And maybe that's the point, you know what I mean? Maybe sometimes it's not about the journey, it's a destination you arrive at. And it's just got me excited to see what's in store in the future coming weeks of Raw. So yeah, I gotta say, good episode of Raw. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to ring a bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts on this episode of Raw was. And until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.